In 1973, every other American manufacturer was giving up on performance. Emissions regulations were strangling engines. Insurance companies were punishing muscle car owners with brutal premiums. The golden era of American performance was dying. Detroit had accepted it. The politicians had mandated it. The accountants had approved it. Pontiac refused to let it die. The Trans Am Super Duty arrived in 1973 with a 455 cubic inch V8, producing 310 horsepower. At a time when rival manufacturers were quietly detuning their engines and removing performance options from their catalogs, Pontiac was doing the opposite. They were building the most powerful muscle car America had seen in years. The name said everything. Super Duty. Not economy special, not emissions compliant, Super Duty. The engine had been developed for racing. Pontiac's engineers took what they had learned on the track and put it directly into a car you could buy at a dealership. Forged internals, round port cylinder heads, an intake manifold designed for maximum airflow. A car built to be driven hard and driven fast. 0 to 60 in 5.4 seconds. Quarter mile in 13.8 seconds. In 1973. When most manufacturers were struggling to produce cars that could crack 15 seconds. But here is what most people don't know. The Super Duty almost never existed. Pontiac's management had planned to cancel the high-performance program entirely in response to the regulatory pressure. The decision seemed final. The era of performance was over. That was the official position. One group of engineers refused to accept that decision. They fought internally for months to keep the program alive. They argued that Pontiac's entire identity was built on performance, that without it, the brand was just another General Motors division selling anonymous sedans. Nobody outside those walls knew the argument was even happening. They won the argument. The Super Duty was approved. Only 1,290 Trans Am Super Duties were ever built. 1,290 cars. The car that was almost canceled before it existed went on to become the final statement of the classic American muscle car era. No manufacturer ever built anything quite like it again. The era ended not with a whimper, but with 455 cubic inches of fury. Some things deserve a proper send-off. The American muscle car got one. But the story of the Trans Am Super Duty is also the story of what happened next. When performance returned to American roads in the 1980s and 1990s, it was built on the shoulders of what Pontiac had refused to abandon in 1973. The engineers who fought for the Super Duty had kept the knowledge alive. The tradition of American performance survived because one manufacturer refused to surrender it. That refusal mattered, not just for Pontiac, for every performance car that came after. The 1973 Pontiac Trans Am Super Duty is not just a muscle car. It is the proof that some people will fight for what they believe in even when the world tells them it's over. Especially then. Today, original Super Duty Trans Ams sell for over $200,000 at auction. The cars that nobody wanted to build became some of the most valuable American performance cars ever produced. In 1973, nobody could have predicted that. The regulators had won. The insurance companies had won. Detroit had surrendered. Time has a way of recognizing what management refused to see. It always does. 1,290 cars built to prove a point. Now I want to hear from you. If you could own any muscle car from this era, the Super Duty, the GNX, anything, what would it be? Drop it in the comments. And if you believe machines like this deserve to be remembered, subscribe. Every week we bring another legend back to life. The next one, it might just change your answer.